Hey everybody, Tanner here with just a quick little announcement before you start listening to this episode of Backlog Boys featuring Uncharted. Just wanted to say that effective immediately, that all AYCH extra content will be on the main feed going forward. A couple of different reasons that I'm sure we'll get into later, but the main one being just being more cost effective. It doesn't really seem ideal for us to be paying for a whole, separate feed for extra content when, sometimes there's 2 or 3 episodes a month that goes up, but, sometimes there's one episode a month go up on the extra feed. It just doesn't seem worth the nearly $200 a year that we have been paying. So until further notice, all the extra stuff will be living here. Just think of it as supplemental. There will never be 2 pods uploaded on the same day. We've never done that. We've never uploaded an extra pod and a main feed pod on the same day. So that will be the same. So there will never be like any overlap between a non-canon or Backlog Boys or Muscle Orchestra or the main show. Nothing like that. Still all your favorite great content that you love and know from 6 years, 6.5 years of All You Can Hear, but now just all living on the same feed. So thank you for understanding, and I hope you enjoy this episode of the Backlog Boys.
Look out, it's the Backlog Boys.
Virus detected.
Download complete.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Backlog Boys podcast. Yes, you can applause. All right, now calm down over there. We
All
finally
right.
made it. We finally
All
made
right.
it.
Yeah, here we are. Wow. Us at the Grammys. Who would have thought?
And you know what? I think Beyonce made a better episode 5.
Yeah. I think so too.
Just kidding, we're better. Because we put a ring on it. No, but we're really happy to be here for episode 5 because holy shit, we've been pushing this back. Good God, it's been months since episode 4 at this point. I want to say 3 months.
I don't know.
Wenzel wasn't even there; he was gone.
Yeah. I was on sabbatical.
Yeah, it was fucking. It's been forever, and we're finally here. But we have some news. We're down a person.
Wait, who?
I don't really remember their name, but last week on the episode that Tanner and I just
Oh,
did,
well, they're not important then if we don't remember their name.
yeah, I guess his name was Tanner. Tanner said, I think he's implied that he would be there for this episode, being the Uncharted Drake's Fortune. By the way,
Yeah.
my name's Colt. What's
I'm
your name?
Wenzel.
Yeah.
I think I said my name. Why am I having look, to be fair, it's a Sunday. We this is kind of unexpected. Well, not the episode, because we did, obviously we knew we were gonna do this, but it's like, we just we literally both woke up probably about an hour ago now.
Yeah.
Not because we didn't want to do this, just because it was like crazy night of partying. No.
I was up till like 1 a.m. making
Yeah,
this
same.
dog, and then I
Well,
also stayed up for like another 2 hours.
Yeah, I was up late too. We just end up sleeping really long. If Tanner said he was gonna be here, I'm sorry to say he's not. There's some personal reasons why he's not here. We obviously we can't say. Just,
But he'll be back at some point.
He'll be back.
Not here.
Just not here for this one. He couldn't make it. And it sucks. It's family reasons. We'll say that. But other than that, yeah.
But we are going to force him to learn the story for this game, because I'm going to go ahead and spoil. We're probably going to revisit this in series. because
Yeah,
personally, I fucking love Uncharted.
you could probably make a bet that we're gonna do the whole series.
Oh yeah,
So, would you win the bet? I would give you 70% chance.
sure, why not?
70%. Yeah. So here we are. We'll take you through. What game is this?
It's Uncharted: Drake's Fortune, the classic, the first of the fucking series. Oh my goodness. This is a game that I played like crazy as a kid. It was part of the bundle I got for Christmas way back when I got my PlayStation 3. I'm trying to remember what other game. I think I got Soul Calibur 4 and this, and I would just play those two constantly. It was it was a real fun time. And looking back at my trophies for this game on my account, I didn't beat it on my account. I beat it on Cody's account. I remember there was a weird thing I would do. I'd just get on Cody's profile on our PlayStation 3 and I'd play games. So on Cody's old PlayStation profile that is stagnant, no longer used, is just my trophies for games I'd play as a little kid. So fuck me. If only I
I
knew.
no, don't, because I would do the same thing. I wouldn't realize that, or I didn't realize that I could have my own account. So I would just play on somebody else's account because I just never thought that, like, oh, I can make my own account and get my own, achievements or trophies. I don't have to play on somebody else's account.
I was
You
just
know.
happy to play games. I didn't really
Same.
care about achievements or trophies. I just wanted to play video games. And I just knew Cody's account was always furthest in Call of Duty because I kept playing on it. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm like Call of Duty. And I eventually created my own account for Modern Warfare
Yeah.
2. But
Yeah.
fuck.
It like, once you realize though that, like, or once you like have kind of like a taste of like competition, getting stuff, and pretty much realizing that you are your own person and you can create your own identity, the world opens up for you, especially in playing video games. Uh,
Yeah, but I've beaten this game. I didn't play it this time. Wenzel played because I remember this game being a little janky and I didn't feel like dealing with it. Again, plus I
yeah, he
knew Wenzel
wanted
didn't beat it as many times as I have because I've beaten
well,
it upwards of 5 times.
yeah, so Colt wanted me to suffer. Um,
Yes.
I should mention though, because I realized this last night. So if Tanner would have been here, there actually would have been two people who didn't play this game, because I realized last night I actually never physically played this game. I watched somebody else play it.
Oh shit.
So this was actually the first time I physically played this game. Now I remember physically playing Uncharted 2, but this is my first. So we have somebody on here who has not physically officially played the game, and that's me.
Damn.
So yeah, but I watched somebody, so I was pretty confident in what I knew. But to actually physically experience the jankiness of it is something we'll talk about later.
Yeah. But like I don't have anything else to say before we get into it. Do you have any other Uncharted related bits you want to throw
Um,
before we get started?
they named this game Uncharted because this was uncharted territory for Naughty Dog.
Okay.
That's actually a fun fact. That's actually a real thing.
I
So Naughty
get you.
Dog, Naughty Dog, um, had created Jack and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot, which were like kind of, not Crash Bandicoot, mostly Jack and Daxter, kind of were like platformers.
Jack and Daxter's a platformer.
Yeah, they were platformers, and but so whenever they came up with the idea for this game, they went with Uncharted because this was literally uncharted territory for them. That's quoted from them, so that's why they went with the name.
Also, it's about a dude that's going on adventures and Uncharted stuff in the modern day.
I mean, sure, but like,
They could
origins
have
of the
just
name,
called it like Sonic the Hedgehog and it'd probably sell a lot better.
maybe.
Which the funny thing is, when writing this doc, I referenced Sonic twice, which is more than I thought I would when I started this.
Which, when I read over your stuff, I was like, I kind of get it. I get it fully, 100%. I get it. I'm like, yeah, I get the Sonic vibes too. And also, fun fact, Nathan Drake's initials are the same as Naughty Dog. So,
Yeah.
you
And
didn't know? Now you know.
coincidentally, Nathan Drake is a little bit of a naughty dog, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh man,
But he's a
playing
good
this
boy.
game, he is a very, very
Somebody
naughty
needs
dog.
to stop this man because he's killed thousands of people.
Yeah, and he just doesn't stop, and he loves to defile graves.
Oh, yes, which we'll get into because I do talk about that at some point.
He does, because every time we got the opportunity, Colt would just talk about it when we were playing.
And
Great.
then Wenzel would always yell out about how I love defiling graves. Quote me on that. And I'm like, okay, Wenzel, I gotcha.
That's not even a bit either. I said that. I'm like, but then I had to change it because I was like, wait a minute, I'm Nathan Drake saying that. That's not, I don't believe in what Nathan Drake does.
Yeah, no exploring. And
No,
other things.
defiling graves.
Okay. But hey, let's go ahead and get into it. We got a lot to cover here, so why not? Uncharted Drake's Fortune is published by Sony Computer Entertainment. If you didn't know, it's a PlayStation exclusive. It was developed by Naughty Dog, which is those bad boys over there at Sony, which thinking about it now, probably one of my favorite developers that is exclusive to PlayStation.
Yep.
They're just very fucking good at their job. Director, Amy Hennig, which is a very, very famous writer.
Yeah, she's like a veteran, pretty much.
Yeah, a veteran in the gaming industry, and this is like one of her best, not Uncharted 1, but like Uncharted, because she worked on this one, the second one, and the third one. This is like some of her best work, regarded by a lot of people. And I haven't really consumed or looked into her work other than Uncharted, but I will say she did a good job.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
With some designers, we got Richard Lamarchand, Hirokazu Yasuhara, which I put here a little information. He originally worked on the first few Sonic the Hedgehog games, the classic Sonic the Hedgehog games. So I thought that was a funny little detail.
It is a fun little detail, and it makes sense too, because there's a part in there where Nathan has to collect rings, and he runs in big loop-de-loops.
Yup. And then there's like a weird fucking echidna that punches the shit out of things.
And then there's this doctor with the with a weird shaped body who keeps hunting him.
Yeah, and like an egg-shaped bulge. It's a new route for
an egg-shaped
Sonic.
bulge in his pants and a flat ass.
Yeah, it's pretty sexy now that I think about it. But some programmers, we got pal Christian Engstad, Dan Leibgold, and Travis McIntosh. Some artists we got Bob Raffay and Bruce Straley. And some writers, you're going to recognize some of these names. You got Amy Hennig, yes. And we got Neil Druckmann. This wasn't his first writing job for video games, but it's one of his early ones. And I thought that was interesting because Neil Druckmann continues to make, later on in his years at Naughty Dog, he makes one of the best stories in gaming. And we have Josh Scher. Josh Scher has a very extensive video game background. And for composer, we have Greg Edmondson. He's composed for a ton of stuff. King of the Hill and Firefly. I thought that was funny. That's the composer for Uncharted, which the music in this game is super epic and really awesome and extremely loud. Made music for fucking King of the Hill.
It's very weird. I didn't expect that. Also should mention too, some of the names and names are familiar. Like Travis McIntosh and Bruce Staley. Obviously, they work at Naughty Dog, so it makes sense. It's just like, since we did the Last of Us episode, it's just like interesting to see these names pop back up for something that's way older. Like, man,
Yeah.
these people are old now.
Yeah, fucking Neil Druckmann's been at least working here since fucking 2007, or well, earlier than that, 2006, 2005, because they've been working on Uncharted. Takes time to make a video game.
Yeah, like, man, I hope they're listening right now because I want them to know that we think they're old. They're certified grandpas and grandmas.
And I love your work. Thank you for making stuff that I love in my childhood.
But put on a diaper, old man. Stinky.
Ew. Just to give you a little idea what this a little synopsis. I'm gonna throw you a little synopsis. Super short, and we'll tell you why it's short. Because Nathan Drake, a renowned adventurer who claims to be the descendant of the famous explorer Sir Francis Drake, with his mentor Victor Sullivan and journalist Elena Fisher, he embarks on a quest to discover the hidden riches of El Dorado. Yeah, that's it.
Why'd you say it like Sullivan?
Just because I can.
Yeah.
And Sully's a
Okay.
little freak. He likes a little freak because there's a point in the game we'll get to where he is a freak.
He is a freak, yeah.
Super short synopsis. Fair because it is a action game. I would say this is the most. I don't want to say action oriented. It is the weakest story of all the Uncharted games. It is the smallest of them all.
No, that's fair. I mean, I get that just because it's like it's the first one and it's very cut and dry action adventure style. So that's understandable. It's more of a proof of concept.
Yes. Now, don't take that as it's bad because it is.
Yeah,
it's not.
no, don't think that's bad. It's just like it was the first of a franchise that they were trying to test the waters of, you know?
Oh yes, and tests they did.
Yeah.
You ready for some developments and just some game information in general?
Yeah, go for it.
It released November 19th, 2007 in North America, December 6th, 2007 in Australasia, and December 7th, 2007 in Europe. I didn't realize AU, I think that's what it's called for short, was Australasia.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you because maybe I was just not typing it right, but when I was trying to look that up, I couldn't find anything about that. I was like, where the fuck did he get that?
It's I found a whole thing on it because I was curious about that. It's just a region for like releases. It's Australia and Asia. They just combined them.
It makes sense, but that's just so weird.
Yeah,
Like,
it is weird considering the cultures that are slapping together right there, but they're next to each other, so I get it.
they're not. I mean, they're kind of next to each other, but not really.
I mean,
if you
isn't Australia closest to Asia than any other place?
Africa is closest to Asia than any other place.
I mean, like I'm talking Australia. What's closest to Australia?
New Zealand, Malaysia,
Malaysia is part of Asia, but New Zealand is counted as Australia.
Yes.
Australasia.
But I'm just saying because if you look at a map, like if you look at an actual globe, you know, if you look, if you place it, I mean, literally to get from Asia to Australia, I mean, you're talking about like a flight. It's gonna be like several hours, probably 10. You know, like
yeah, but like they just
not
can't have
not 10,
Australia
right.
and New Zealand being its own fucking thing.
Well, no, I know, but like you know, obviously, like you know, it doesn't matter because they came out at the same time in the region, but also too, Australia is its own continent, which is why I'm kind of confused about it because, like, you know, it's its own. You could technically consider it its own region.
Yeah,
like it makes much more sense to say like Eurasia because Europe and Asia are connected. But then also too, it comes out a day later in Europe. Like what?
Yeah, I don't understand the release scheduling for this stuff. I don't know if
Yeah,
because nowadays this doesn't really happen as much. We don't have like releases in another country. We have a worldwide release for most of these things. Like
most of these things. Yeah,
The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, I think, or 2 for sure, released on the same day everywhere. You didn't have any fucking month later, 5 days later. Weird ass situations here.
yeah, yeah.
Also,
And
why the
again,
fuck did it take 1 day difference in from
that's what I
Europe and
that's what I'm saying because Asia and Europe are literally connected. So why wouldn't it just come out on like if anything, instead of saying Australasia, you would say Pacific region or something. I don't know because it's in the Pacific. So like
if
and
I
if
was
you
in fucking Europe, I would just like if I was on the border of an Asian country, I'd just be like, "You know what? I'm gonna be right back."
yeah, right? Like and like also too like cuz like continental Asia, obviously is different from the islands.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like, you can say obviously Eurasia because Europe and Asia, the continents, like are together. But then the islands and Australia, you would just put them into like, I don't know, the Pacific region. But now, no, 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 no. Don't get me wrong though, because that gets into like a difference of like, well, Southeast Asians and then Pacific Islanders and stuff. I'm just talking about like, you know, this whole weird system of like regions, Australasia, like I just don't get it. Anyway, this it's not obviously it's not that important.
Yeah, this
So
isn't Uncharted
yeah,
important to Uncharted. It's
this
just a
is
weird
uncharted
thing.
territory for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that.
Anyways, Uncharted is a third-person linear action adventure platformer slash shooter. It's yeah, that's it. It
That's
is
it.
it's mostly a shooter, if I had to say, because platforming. Looking at like our stats after we beat the game, we were only platforming for like fucking 15 to 16 minutes tops.
Something like I thought it was 20 minutes.
Yeah, but it's also counting my stats from my last playthrough I did
Oh,
in like 2016. So
wow.
really, you're not platforming or climbing on walls. I don't know why I made that noise that first time.
Climbing. Yeah.
Which is strange because when I think of Uncharted, I think of the climbing and how
I think yeah.
fucking long, not long, because I really enjoy the climbing. That's one of my favorite parts about the Uncharted series. It's just strange. Just strange. Development for Uncharted started after completing Jack 3 all the way back there in the good old 2005 under the code name Big. Thought that was funny because it's so fucking vague.
It's so vague. I mean, it's supposed to be, but like,
Because it's something new.
yeah, yeah.
Development started in 2005, was in full production for about 2 years with a small team of engineers working on the game for about a year beforehand. Naughty Dog decided to create a brand new IP instead of opting to develop a PlayStation 3 Jack and Daxter game. This hurts fucking 6-year-old me so much. They wanted to create a franchise suitable for the new hardware in order to develop such ideas as realistic human characters instead of stylized one, owing to limitations of previous hardware, as well as creating something fresh and interesting. Although the game is termed as stylized realism, and that's one thing that when I was making this doc, I didn't think about it. That yeah, it is stylized
Yeah.
realism. Yeah.
No, I agree. It's very stylized realism.
Because if you would have asked me before I read that, I probably would have just said, "Yeah, it's realism. It's realism." Owing visuals to the time that it couldn't look as detailed, but even with Uncharted 4, it is stylized realism, I would say.
Yeah, I would say if there's any of the Naughty Dog games that you would be say more was on realism, obviously
uh, uh,
Last of Us.
yeah.
I would say The Last of Us, in terms of like how it looks visually is very much more realistic. Other than that, I mean, you're talking about Jack and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot, and Uncharted are all their own styles. So
Yup. Inspiration for Uncharted was drawn from various sources in the action and adventure genres, such as Indiana Jones and National Treasure. Which, when I read that, I thought, "What? National Treasure?" But no, makes complete sense because National Treasure is fucking insane, and the story for Uncharted games can be pretty fucking insane. The team felt the sources shared the themes of mystery and what if scenarios that romanticized adventure and aimed to include those in Uncharted. Because, like, it's about a dude that's like, yeah, I'm the descendant of a major explorer. Now I'm going to go find what the fuck he was doing.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Went for input. Uncharted was first
I have no
unveiled.
input.
Input. Uncharted was first unveiled at E3 2006. I would have been 7 years old in fucking E3 2006 if they still did it in July or June.
Yeah, I would have been 8.
That's fucked
No,
up.
I would have been 7 if it was in June, but next month I would have turned 8. So
Yeah. From early previews of the game, inevitable comparisons of elements such as platforming and shooting between Uncharted and the well-known Tomb Raider series were drawn, earning the nickname Dude Raider. I thought that was a silly Billy little thing right there. However, the devs saw their game as concentrating more on third-person cover-based play in contrast to Tomb Raider's auto-aiming play and greater puzzle-solving elements. That is one thing about the Tomb Raider games. The puzzles, go ahead and saying that, are a lot not harder. They're more complex in Tomb Raider games. And the auto-aiming part is very true because this game's all about fucking aiming at their goddamn heads and trying to shoot them as they dodge before you even shoot.
yeah, I try to go for a headshot run.
Yeah, that's. I understand the comparison though.
Yeah,
Other influences
Dude
they
Raider.
just a fucking crazy ass nickname.
I mean, it's just funny too because obviously with Tomb Raider's defining feature being that she has very large breast. Nathan Drake's defining feature is he has a very large back.
Yeah.
It's the reverse. See, we got you. They got you there.
Other
Nah, he has a very
influences.
big upper body. He has a very big upper body.
Yes, he does. He does have a very big upper body because he has to roll on the ground a lot and he needs a big surface area to roll on. Other influences they cited included Resident Evil 4, Kill Switch, and Gears of War. I didn't know what Kill Switch was until I read this.
The
I looked
band?
into no, it's a third person cover shooter. It's looks all right. Like not something I'd want to play today.
All right.
But Resident Evil 4 and Gears of War makes sense. Gears of War more so because it is a cover shooter. And this game is very much so a cover shooter.
Yeah, I mean, I got that whenever playing it. Definitely felt that the vibes, especially when you can when it tells you about running to cover. Like I would say it's kind of getting a little bit into it. I would say Gears of War is probably better.
Yeah, the cover system here feels a little rough, but it does get better, I say, as the games go on. But we're not talking about those games. We're talking about this one. It's a little rough here. The devs envisioned the main. Oh, fuck, skipping details. The dev team intended the game's main setting of the island to play a big role in the overall experience, feeling that too many games use bleak, dark settings with monochromatic color schemes. They wanted the island to be a vibrant, believable game world that immersed the player and encouraged exploration. Which is funny because when people think of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games around this time, they think of them as gray, dull looking experiences. But thinking about it now, Uncharted was not a gray, dull looking experience. It was really colorful for the time.
Yeah, no, I remember. Well, I remember whenever I thought about my PS3, I always thought of like colorful games. I mean, I thought the same thing for Xbox as well, but I had before I got my Xbox, I had my PS3, a Wii, and that was it. But yeah, because I played Ratchet and Clank, and I burped. Sorry. I can't stop burping.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Jack and Dexter on PS2 and stuff like that. So and the Avatar game, the one that came out with the movie in 2009.
Oh, I had the James Cameron. Okay.
Yes, yeah, that one. I had that for PS3 as well. So, yeah, I don't know. It's always weird when I hear that, just because I don't think any console besides probably the oldest gaming consoles in history, like, I mean, once you get to the PlayStation up, I mean, you don't really have anything that's bland and not colorful.
It was more so for like the realism games.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Call
okay.
of Duty, fucking I just had the game in mind and now it just fucking ran out the door. It said, "All right, you're going to reference me in a few seconds. I'm out."
Okay.
Anyways, there are some gray games in this time frame, and
Assassin's Creed,
Assassin's Creed is very gray, I would say.
Resident
It's
Evil 4,
Resident
actually.
Evil 4 is very gray as well.
But
Resident Evil 5 is very one tone. Resident Evil 6 is very one tone.
I would say, well, I say Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is not as realistic. It is stylized realism as
Yeah,
well.
but it's still gray. Still
Yeah, yeah.
gray.
Anyway,
Yeah, the devs envisioned the main protagonist, Nathan Drake, as more of an everyman character rather than Lara Croft, shown as clearly under stress in the games, many firefights with no special training, and constantly living at the edge of his abilities. Yeah, Lara Croft is depicted as more of a professional, and like she knows what the fuck she's doing in the first few games, the first series of games, because the 2013 new ones and on. Or
that's when
2014,
she's young.
yeah, it's when she's young. It's when she's more like Nathan Drake, and I prefer that one because I just like the character a lot more. I They say he's an everyman character. He's doing a lot of stuff that a lot of men I know can't do. He's swinging from ropes, climbing all these ledges, surviving firefights. Nah, I can't do that. Can you?
Yeah, I can. Why not?
Okay. Oh, sure. Director Amy Hennig felt a heavily armored, tough as nails protagonist with a large weapon was not suitable hero, and decided a tenacious and resourceful character would portray more human qualities. Supporting characters Elena Fisher and Victor Sullivan were included to avoid a dry and emotionless story. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, because if it was just Nathan, I don't think it would be as good.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think they definitely have, it's so weird because they have a small cast, but like it's it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. The new hardware allowed for processes that the team had never used in PlayStation 2 game development and required them to quickly familiarize themselves with the new techniques, for example, parallel processing and pixel shaders. While Blu-ray afforded greater storage space, the team became concerned with running out of room several times. Uncharted used bigger textures than previous games and included several languages on the disc, which is fucking crazy that they had all this brand new stuff using all this brand new room using the Blu-rays, but they still ran out of fucking room just because of how fucking much details they had in this new game.
Yeah.
Nathan Drake is voiced by Nolan North, which voice acting legend. When you think Nolan North, you think Nathan Drake, and when you think Nathan
Yes.
Drake's voice actor, you think Nolan North. Super simple.
But now when I think of Nathan Drake, I think of Tom Holland.
Oh no. Victor Sullivan is voiced by Richard McGonigal.
I think of Mark Wahlberg.
Uh-oh. And Elena Fisher is voiced by Emily Rose.
I did see the movie, so I don't know who plays her.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if Ellen is in it.
I don't
She
know.
probably is. I know Ada's in it. I think Ada's in it. Not Ada. Fuck, that's Resident Evil. I can't remember the woman with the red
Chloe.
shirt. Chloe. There we go.
I was gonna say like I think they have her in it, which is so weird that they have her
Yeah.
before they have Alina. But to be fair, they also have a sequence in there that's not until
The third
like
game.
the third game. So
I
they're
don't
doing
think
whatever they want.
they're doing any like playing by games shit. I think they're just like, you know what, fuck it. They're gonna recognize this from this game and this game and this. Why don't I just put it all together?
And let's just listen to social media when they say, "Oh yeah, Tom Holland needs to play Nathan Drake."
Yeah.
Because they look so similar.
Yup. Yeah. I'm not very happy with the movie. I'm probably never gonna watch it because it just feels disrespectful. It was re-released on PlayStation 4 as part of the Uncharted the Nathan Drake collection, a collection of the first 3 games before the release of Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. And I remember when this came out, I was thinking like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna play all of these games for A Thief's End. And I only played the first 2 because I waited too long to play the third one, and the game Uncharted 4 came out before I could replay it.
Yeah, I remember Colt talking about that. He was messed up about it too. He wouldn't stop crying.
Yeah, I was punching the wall on the ground. The coach and P was like, "What's got you down, son?" And I'd say, "Skedaddle, old man. I'm back and I'm ready to fight." Drake doesn't. Oh fuck! Here's just some fun extra information that I thought was really cool, and I told Wenzel about it yesterday. And here's a quote: Drake doesn't ever take bullet damage. The red UI that shows hits is to represent his luck running out. Eventually, enemies will get a clear shot and kill him if he takes enough near misses. Jonathan Cooper tweeted this on his Twitter at GameAnim. And Amy Hennig responds by saying, "True, that was the original intention." And then she continues to say, "To stay more aligned with the spirit and tone of the films that we're homaging." Yeah, I thought that was extremely cool.
I thought it was cool.
think it's
I didn't
really
know that.
funny that Nathan Drake is basically immortal because he can just have his luck reset by hiding in the corner.
he just has so much luck. But eventually that luck runs out, and what happens? He gets shot in the goddamn head, gets his brains blown out.
Does that mean if he stands still and is like, when he's super fucking old at like 90, the Grim Reaper can't come and get him?
Until his luck runs out.
Yeah.
Which, how does that ever happen?
I don't know.
I just said, how does that ever happen? Why you sound so sad?
Thinking about Nathan Drake dying. I don't want that to happen.
Wow. Okay. And then there's another little quote because whenever we first were playing this, me and Tanner. Now Tanner was there for first little section of it. Me and Tanner looked at it. We were like, "Wow, this looks really good. Are you sure?" Like we kept asking Cole, like, "Are you sure this isn't like they didn't touch up on anything, or is this just a port?" And Colt said it was just a port. They didn't really do much, but to check to make sure if that was true, because I had to know because it just didn't sound right. I looked it up on the Wikipedia page, the development section of Uncharted 1 in the Nathan Drake collection. The first Uncharted required the most work. This is from Bluepoint. As it was the oldest game in the series. According to Thrush, almost every system in Uncharted 1 was touched, and that it needed the most love to get it to the state of how you remember it from the PS3 days.
Thrush.
Thrush.
Really? That's the fucking person that reported on that?
Yeah. I mean,
That's a very...
Not the person. That's
I
like
know
the
it's
name
the
of the...
organization. There's
Yeah.
I think that's strange because that's also a name for a yeast infection.
I know. That's why I was like, man, weird, but okay. Yeah. So there you have it. They did work on it. It says almost now. It sounds like from what they said, there was a touch-ups on gameplay and stuff like that. We don't know how much of graphically it was worked on, but I'm gonna assume they did just because they almost worked on every single aspect of it. So, yeah. It was not just a port, Colt. So me and Tanner were right.
I genuinely think that visually, though, they didn't that much because we're going to get into the reception. Uncharted Drake's Fortune received generally favorable reviews from game critics, sitting currently at a score of 88 out of 100 on Metacritic for the original release on PlayStation 3. Game Informer complimented the visuals and dialogue between Drake and Fisher, calling them stunning, entertaining respectively. They stated that the production values appeared high, citing the level of detail and musical score. PlayStation echoed similar statements about the visuals and compared them to that of Crisis. So that's why I say that I don't think they visually touched up on it that much, because at the time of its release, it was visually the best looking game that you could find on consoles and other places. So that's why I
I
say
mean,
I don't think they did.
I'm just telling you, man. This is what Blue Point Report said. They
I
touched the
think they
game.
did touch up on everything but visuals.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong.
I think you don't think anymore. I'm deleting your mind.
Oh,
Yeah, you're stupid now. The overall presentation of the game received unanimous praise from critics who did recognize the game's high production value, describing them as top-notch, incredible, or comparing them to those found in Hollywood. So, yeah, even more so people being like, yeah, this shit's crazy, super high quality, top-notch. When combined with the overall style of the game, this led many reviewers to compare Uncharted to summer blockbuster films, with the action and theme of the game drawing comparison to Indiana Jones series and Tomb Raider. As part of the presentation, the game's story and atmosphere were also received well. The depth of the characters was praised, each having their own tone. The voice acting was also received well, as the cast nails its characterizations. Overall, the voice acting was described as a big star performance, superb, and stellar. Which, yes. And when I think of voice acting in video games, I don't really think of many games that were time frame where I'm thinking, okay, that voice acting, holy shit, that was amazing. I feel like this game really pushed voice acting to the forefront of like how important it can be for a video game.
I mean, Halo, Gears of War, Ratchet and Clank, those games come to mind.
Yeah. But also, you gotta also look at fucking Final Fantasy X. Not great voice acting, if you ask me. At least the English. I didn't play in Japanese because
Well, Final Fantasy X isn't Halo, Gears of War, or Ratchet and Clank. So, you know.
Game designer Tim Schafer, well known as a creator of early LucasArts adventure games such as The Secret of Monkey Island, has also lauded the game, saying he liked it a lot and jokingly thanked it for teaching him a new fashion tip with Nathan Drake's half-tucked shirt. Which
Now Tim Schafer only does that where he has a half-tucked shirt in.
he only does it, and it's actually strange because he makes sure for his profile picture on every single social media is a torso shot where it at least gets to where his belt buckle, it shows one half the shirt's tucked in.
Yep.
It's a very, very fun thing. Thank you, Nathan Drake.
He always, he always says that. He always says that in this post where he's like, I got to thank Nathan Drake. It has now been over a decade. So
Fashion never changes for Nathan. He is style. Oh my. Criticism of the game included some graphical issues such as texture popping and screen tearing. One of the more silly issues, this is me putting my opinion in here, was gameplay length, with reviewers completing the game in anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. I genuinely think this time frame where video games were they were good and short and they had a lot of replay value, which I genuinely think that Uncharted 1 has pretty good replay value because when I was little, I played the fuck out of it. I think this attributes for the time frame in the early 2000s to not 2000s, 2010s to late 2010s, where every game was a massive open world 60 to 100-hour experience. Because all these devs were like, I'm paying $60 for this, so it better be over 60 hours. So you get an hour per dollar. I just think that's some bullshit. I'm not very big into that. I do love long games. I do love getting bang for your buck, but I think that's a little bullshit.
I mean, but does it really make sense though to pay $60 for something that's only 2 to 3 hours long?
I mean,
Because
no,
you don't
because
even pay that much for a movie.
I not. This isn't 2 to 3 hours long though. This is 6 to
Well,
10.
I know, but you talked about how, these developers thinking that if you're paying $60, then you got to have more time in the game. And that's a fair thinking because if you're paying that much for a game, you should be putting a lot of time in, or there should be a lot of time getting put into the game. Like I think that's a fair kind of thinking.
I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, Uncharted is a good game that has a lot of replay value. Like, it's not a 3-hour experience, and most of the time with games like that, they were fairly priced. Because I remember indie games that were like 3 hours tops on PlayStation 3. You can get them for like $14, and now indie games are like $30.
Yeah.
So I just don't. I just want good games. I don't really care about length. As long as the game's fun, I have no care in the world. All right, so I guess we're gonna get into some sales numbers. Ready to learn about how good this game did? Are
No,
you
not
ready?
really.
Okay. The game became one of the first batch of titles to be released as part of Europe's budget platinum range, which is their best of series. Where in the US we'd have red cases for PlayStation 3 games, and you can get them for like $20 of best-selling titles and sold 1 million copies 10 weeks after its release. So it did really well at the time frame. Sony announced at E3 2009 that Uncharted Drake's Fortune sold over 2.6 million copies worldwide and was a hit for the PlayStation 3. And this is the last update that I could find, is that as of March 2015, Uncharted has sold 4.8 million copies. And here's a little fun comparison to Naughty Dog's last release non-remake game. The Last of Us 2 sold over 4 million copies in its opening weekend and over 10 million by June 2022. So you can
Dang.
say gamers have increased here.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I can't really do any math there for you. Tanner could probably have some fun math for you there, but I don't, so I'm not gonna. But here's a fun fact: when the Xbox 360 launched in 2005, that was when they introduced achievements, and for the longest time, Sony wasn't going to do a system similar until 2009, which is 3 years after the PS3 had come out, for to have the trophy system. And they mandated all games going forward from that January will require trophy support. And now some games that did release prior to this did not require those fixes, but Uncharted was one of the ones where they went back and added trophies. And it was the first game to have a platinum trophy.
Yup, and that's also another thing that goes into play, as I didn't have these fucking trophies on my account because when I played it on my profile, I didn't have the ability to earn fucking trophies.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sony. But I'm very glad that they did add the trophy support, because let's just say that has absorbed a lot of my time over the last fucking nearly what, like 17 years? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've been trophy hunting a long time.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is very fun. I will say that.
It is very fun. Also, another little tidbit here. In Japan, when the game was released, all of the blood was removed,
What?
but the gunplay was all the same, just no blood. But the thing is that there's barely any blood in the game.
Yeah, the only blood I can think of that you see is like the little splash whenever you shoot someone.
But there's
That's it.
there's barely even that. But they removed it all in Japan.
That's strange.
It's very strange. Don't know why they did that.
Because when I think of like Japanese games now, like for example, Resident Evil 2. There's
So
blood,
bloody.
so much fucking
There's so
blood.
much blood, which is so funny.
And I feel like in like the old Silent Hills too, they're fucking bloody as hell. That's strange.
They're
don't
very
understand that.
disturbing. Yeah, I don't either. Very weird.
Very weird. Now we get into the experience overall. We're gonna hit you up with some more game information and the story.
Yeah, but real quick, you're gonna shut the fuck up for this one, Colt,
Okay.
because I want to read it.
Okay.
I want to tell you.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Game is made up of 22 chapters. It took us roughly 6 to 7 hours to beat it on easy difficulty. It was a breeze, super fucking easy.
Oh yeah.
Didn't die once.
Don't know about that.
So let's read off what Colt has written here. Should mention Colt did almost all of this doc, like 99% of it. There's probably 1% where I edited, and stuff like that. So give a round of applause for Colt. Thank you, Colt, by the way.
Yippee!
No, really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Colt. So game starts with Nathan and Alina bringing up the supposed coffin of Sir Francis Drake. They soon discover that the coffin, which is part of Francis's elaborate treasure hunt that leads to the treasure of El Dorado. Inside the coffin is Francis Drake's journey log diary. If you don't know, El Dorado is the city of gold. It's a mythical city that a lot of conquistadors and Spaniards throughout history have been looking for. And this takes that and kind of puts a spin on it. So yeah. Some pirates attack the ship that they are on, blowing it up. Thankfully, Wingman, I'm going to read this word for word what Cole has written. Solely Marky Mark came to the rescue via plane. A small time jump happens where they are docked at a scenic island. Elena is seen talking to the people she works for on the phone. Nathan and Solely decide to ditch her because it's not as risky to have her with them. So they go to find the lost gold of El Dorado.
Yeah, I put Marky Mark because Sully is played by Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
And
which
Marky
I
Mark is
mentioned.
the Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah, I know. That's just it was just really funny reading that because at first I thought like, did he type this weird? But then I was like, oh no, because Mark Wahlberg. So
Yeah.
once at the location with the diary they use that to figure out the first puzzle in the game, which was super easy. Nothing too crazy. There really isn't any puzzle in this game that's like super difficult. They're all fairly straightforward. I would say there's one that you have to do later in the game that's actually kind of not confusing, but like pretty well involved. Wenzel dies the most I've ever seen him die in a video game in the span of 2 minutes. Record breaking, really. That is true. I die a lot, and not because the puzzle was difficult or dangerous. It's just because the controls and were so janky because I had forgotten that when you're with something like this, your character to show that he needs to jump to the next kind of platform or whatever, you have to make sure you're pointing him in that direction. You can't just jump off and try to jump to it. And that's what I was doing, and I kept falling and dying.
Yeah, you died probably like 20 minutes. It's not 20 minutes, 20 times in such a quick succession.
Okay, well,
it was
Colt's
fucking crazy.
Exaggerating. I died at least 9 times.
Yeah.
Anyway, You both so Nathan and Solomon pretty much don't really find much. So they leave and they come across or they make their way through and they come across a semi landlocked Nazi U-boat.
I
It's
say
not
it's semi landlocked because it's like it's in water, but
it's
it
in
is
water.
on land and it can't move.
It's on it's pretty much there's a waterfall behind it, and in the middle is there's probably a name for this. So it's like a brief reprieve before you get to the next waterfall. But yeah. Um so yeah, they're it's beautiful, you know, they're confused by how it got there.
No, this
Um
is me. This is me putting here because I said it was beautiful scenery, but confusing on how it reached there. Nathan said it must have reached there during the flooding season a while back. I never thought about it until this playthrough. How the fuck did it get there? I don't understand the flooding season. That means like there had to be a flood so fucking massive that it flooded up to this tip of this mountain, and it had to happen during World War II ish, like 70 years ago. Which how
well
the fuck did that happen?
well no, not necessarily. So what could have happened is it could have been um if it could have been near a coast, and whatever happened to it, you know, because obviously the crew's all dead when you go inside of it. Obviously they can't be alive. But there's clearly like punctures and torn like pieces of the submarine, so very obviously it was probably in a battle, so it got sunk. And when it got sunk, it was probably close to a coast. If it's close to the coast of South America and it's connected to a river, more than likely what's going to happen is it's going to that current is going to push it up. And probably what happens, it pushed it into the river. And like you said, during the flooding season, it got pushed like all the way down, pretty much down the river. And at some point, I mean, because you're in the middle of the jungle, I mean, nobody would know or notice. It just went down the river and then uh, went down the waterfall and got stuck. So, I mean, it's not impossible for that to happen.
But the U-boat is it's fucking huge.
Yeah, but they're very rivers can be very big. I mean, hell, we
Also, this
used
is an
to
island.
no, you're on the continent of South America.
Are you?
Yes, for this first part with you
Oh
and
yeah, the first part. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, it isn't until later when you're flying that you go to an
Yeah.
island.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. You're just, you know, you are using a boat, that's also because you're near the coast. So you can, you know, yeah. So yeah. So there you go. Now you know how I got there. Are you less confused now?
No, I just want to know why the boat is so stinky.
Correct, because of all the fucking corpses.
Okay, I'm good now.
Okay. So yeah, one of them has old, I guess you can probably say Spanish doubloons or old gold coins, and that empty from its corpse like Sonic the Hedgehog getting hit by Eggman. That is what Colt has written here.
Yep.
The
Because
cat.
as soon as like Nathan moves the body, coins just start showering out of this corpse. It was like that. It was like Eggman hitting him.
Yeah, and the captain's body is found with a map that gives him further information on where to go next. Nathan tries to talk to Sully on the radio, but he's being very quiet and very suspicious. And as Nathan is trying to get out, he accidentally activates a torpedo before swimming away from the sub. Now, if you don't know, torpedoes, they don't necessarily explode as soon as they are shot. Mostly what they do is that they can tend to hit the side of a boat, basically like shredding it, and then they might explode um after, or if it's like a direct impact, they will explode. But sometimes a lot of the times torpedoes might just graze it. And that also works in sinking other submarines and stuff. But yeah, so it just kind of sits there and it's a ticking time bomb. You meet Gabriel Roman, the man that Sully has been just bitching about that he owes money to the entire game, the entire first part. He followed Sully because Sully, and this is true now, Sully couldn't keep his big mouth shut. Daddy Nathan isn't happy about this. Roman has his hired guns with him, so there's nowhere to go. Roman steals one of the maps from you.
Yeah, Roman's just being a sneaky little shithead. Like, so he couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut, and Nathan's like, "I'm gonna have to punish you, kitten. Daddy's not happy."
You think Nathan would be the dominant one?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I
even
agree.
though Sully is his father figure.
Sully is his father figure and a freak, but I think that Sully would be the kitten. Yes, I agree.
Yes, 100%.
Roman was going to shoot Drake, but Sully got shot instead. The U-boat blows up immediately after, giving Nathan a moment to escape. Sully's dead on the ground. Drake makes its way.
Drake makes it away.
Makes it away. I don't know why I got really confused about that. And immediately runs into Alina, who has been following their every movement since they ditched her. So now she's going to help you fight through the jungle. You fight through a few skirmishes. You get out of the jungle, and then you are on a plane. You're flying by yourselves now with Alina. And then you get shot down while you're trying to make it to an island, and you both parachute out, and you're both briefly separated to where Nathan basically spends this next portion trying to reunite with Alina. And then it turns out Roman is also on the island, and he is also trying to find the treasure while you're trying to look for her. You make it to a fort where you find Alina doing some shit with her camera, trying to get some cool shots. You try to save her, get into a fight. There's an explosion. You get knocked out. You end up in a jail cell. Alina is throwing rocks at you through the window. She offers to rip the wall off as she walks away to find a way to break you free. Eddie Raja appears outside his cell. It's implied that Eddie and Nathan have some sort of past where they dislike each other. Eddie's being a dick while Alina is seen in the background hooking up some sort of what's it called? It's a hook. Whatever. To a Jeep where she pulls out the wall, he jumps back on the Jeep, and you have to defend the onslaught from the pirate vehicles using a mounted machine gun / grenade launcher, which I didn't realize it was also a machine gun until I started pressing a different trigger. I thought that was pretty cool.
And I didn't know it was a grenade launcher. So I think in my original playthroughs, I just used the machine gun.
Yeah, like it was really cool. It was a very fun experience. Just gutting, blowing shit up. You eventually get cornered on a cliff where Nathan, being the genius he is, decides to drive the Jeep backwards off the cliff into a large body of water that has decided to flood an old city. I don't know
because the water has a mind of its own.
True. All right. What follows, the super simple on rails shooting section is easily one of the weakest points of the entire game. A Sea-Doo racing through a sunken city. Yeah.
I fucking hate these sections. I remember doing these sections as a kid, and I told Wenzel, I didn't realize you could shoot. I didn't realize you could fucking shoot. So I would always just like zoom, zip through these areas without shooting. I don't know exactly how I did it because watching Wenzel do this was bad. It's not Wenzel's fault. It was this area is just bullshit, and the mechanics are bullshit.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny when Colt told me that, because I was like, wow, you made that like 1,000 times harder for you, because
Yep.
I will say having a grenade launcher that is unlimited ammo really helped, but it was still very much bullshit because there's no cover. If you bump into explosive barrel, that's it. You're done. And there will be guys with grenade launchers. As soon as they hit you, you're dead. You're done. It's over. So yeah, I did not like it either.
And
Just a
thank
heads up.
God that this is the last Sea-Doo section.
This is the last Sea-Doo section. It's the only one of its kind. Thank goodness.
Yup.
After the terrible Sea-Doo section, Nathan leaves Alina to guard the treasured Sea-Doo to find a way into the nearby tower. You fight your way up to the tower, parkouring your way to a ship cargo ledger where you learn that El Dorado statue came through this port that you're at.
I couldn't remember. Is this where we learned that El Dorado is actually a statue, or we think it's a statue? Or was that somewhere earlier?
No. So in the very close to the beginning when you're with Sullivan is when you find out it's
Yes, because it's being dragged. You're right. Yeah, I got it.
yeah, because you find so heads up, sorry, we didn't explain this actually. So El Dorado isn't a city, it's actually a statue. So what happens is you discover that El Dorado is being worshipped. It's a city, or it's a statue that's being worshipped, and it was dragged, and you find the drag marks. Also too, you look at these I guess you can call them not artwork, not hieroglyphics either. You basically look at wall art, and Sullivan's like, "Are those people?" Hint, hint. Who's worshiping that statue? So, yeah. So after ripping a drawing of El Dorado out of the ancient precious ledger, they continue on their journey. Nathan has a sneak.
That's
What?
one thing that I remember playthrough. I was thinking like, damn, Nathan, I thought you respected old shit, but no, you're ripping pages out of a fucking priceless ancient book. Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Colt talked about this quite a bit, where we would come across just ancient like books, and in like movies or video games, you know, obviously to get the story going, they have to look for the most important book, the most important, you know, document, right? But they don't care about anything else. Doesn't matter, and nothing else matters. But it's like we were thinking, like, damn, I would probably be trying to stuff my bag full of this shit. Like, who knows what's in here? Who knows what information's been lost? You know, like
even if it's not valuable, still think it'd be fun to read through the
yeah.
old shit.
Right? Like, and then I also said it'd be cool to see the artwork. Like, what art is in these books? Like, who knows? So yeah, I just thought that was fun. After ripping a drawing of El Dorado, oh, I already read that. Nathan has to sneak to find a boat while Alina goes off to do the whatever the hell she is. You don't really know what she does. Oh, wait, yeah, you do. What am I saying?
You learn what she does.
You learn. As you make it to the boat and are about to ambush the pirates loading it up with goods. And I mean, you're ready. You're like getting pumped up. It's kind of weird. Nathan's getting super aggressive, and he's like, "I'm gonna murder these pirates. I'm gonna steal their wallets, and I'm gonna make sure that their families know that they're dead." He's ready. Elena comes out of nowhere, spouting off that Nathan's gonna want to see this, and she shows Nathan footage of who? Sully, still alive, seemingly helping Roman find El Dorado. What the fuck, Sully? Marky Mark, how could you do this to us?
Why would you betray me? I knew about the hate crimes, but I didn't know you were a fucking betrayer.
I didn't know you were a betrayer. It's easily the worst thing you could ever do. During Alina's interruption, the boat you were going to jack off drives off. I put that in there.
Oh, yeah.
I said that. So now you have to push onward to find a different route on the way to your next destination.
Route.
Alina mourns the loss of her camera after dropping it because she was gonna die if she did it.
Yeah, she's over here like, oh, I can't drop my camera, but you fell through a fucking old ass wooden bridge and are about to die. And if you don't drop your fucking camera, you're gonna die.
Yep. So sucks, but yep.
She's
no evidence now. So it didn't. Nothing they did happened. That's what it means. You eventually make it to, you guessed it, another Sea-Doo section. But this time, it is way worse, and you have to drive up 15 small waterfalls as you ping-pong off of rocks only using a handgun. Okay, no lie, this section fucking sucked.
Yeah, watching Wenzel do it, I was like, yeah, I'm glad I'm not still watch. Because Wenzel was bouncing off the same fucking rock for like 5 minutes. He's getting blown up by a grenade launcher.
There was a rock that like I was trying to maneuver up because I couldn't maneuver the other waterfall because there was explosive barrels. So I was literally being ping-ponged. It was so annoying, and all you have is a handgun. God damn.
They should
It
have
was-
gave you the handgun for the first Sea-Doo action, and this one is where you get the grenade launcher. I don't know why.
I don't know why you're gonna make it harder. Like, it sucked. I did not like that section. Easily the worst section.
Yeah, I'm glad this is the joke from earlier is it wasn't the last Sea-Doo section.
Yeah,
This
is legit. This is legit the last Sea-Doo section. You find a pirate that has been impaled. You're in the jungle, by the way, back in the jungle. You find a pirate that's been I'm gonna say it. Pirate. You're gonna say you find a pirate that's been impaled on a man-made trap made out of the wreckage of your crashed plane. But it's weird because it definitely wasn't made by the pirates, and along with that, there's inhuman footprints. Huh? Question mark. What does that mean? Humans have 5 toes. Why does this one have 16?
7. Oh fuck.
No, it had like 3 or 2, something
It
like
had
that.
a weird foot. It had a creature
It had a weird foot. Yeah. Now's when the game gets hard because it introduces one-shot kill enemies using deagles, and there are just more enemies everywhere. That's true. Yeah. You fight your way to Soli, chilling with the pirates, talking about a Filipina. That was called a spinner. Sully's interrupted by the pirate before he is able to tell them why she was called a spinner.
I was listening. What does that mean? What does that mean, Wenzel? Why did they call her a spinner? Because Sully was like, it's because she does she gets, and then like he's like, shut the fuck up.
Yep. So
I don't know what a spinner means.
I don't know either. But Filipino representation.
I don't know if it's just the best representation.
I don't think so either. Jesus. They spot you eavesdropping, so now you have to kill everyone in the room. Also, this is why we keep referencing Sullivan being a fucking freak.
Yeah, because he's a little sex freak. He loves it. He wants it to spin on it.
Yeah, I guess that's what that means. Okay. Once everyone is dead. I didn't read this.
What?
Hold on. Okay. Let me get my bearings. Once everyone is dead. God damn it. Nathan makes love to Sully after they talk about how he survived. The bullet was stopped. The bullet that shot Sully the Art was stopped by Francis Drake's diary. Yeah, so Nathan once they just made sweet love. That's all I can do. That's all I can say.
Yeah, because like Nathan saw he was alive and he ran to him, and like Lena was there watching. It was a really beautiful scene.
Yeah, it's like the sex scene from The Last of Us Part 2.
Which one?
Oh, the one with Abby.
Which one?
There's only one with Abby.
Oh, I guess that must have been a dimension jump. My bad.
Shut up. You're not dimension jumping. You know, the one where fucking they're
in the boat.
Yeah, they're in the boat and they're kind of fighting each other, but not really. They're fucking.
That's
pretty much what's happened here. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, that would be such a fucking funny, like.
It'd be so funny if you did that, Naughty Dog.
It would be so funny if Nathan Drake and Sullivan were animated over Abby and oh god, I can't remember his name. The dude.
Oh, fuck, I can't remember his name. He's just like so not important. Like he's not even a person. I can't remember his name.
He really, oh god, what's his name? I want to say Josh, but I know it's not that.
Joel. Yeah, it's Joel.
It's Joel. Ugh, no. Okay. Anyway, back to the story. After a few baby difficulty rated puzzles, the gang finds a secret passage that Nathan goes through solo. Oh, and also, Sullivan has been alive because we tell you why he's been alive, but what he's been doing is he has been helping Roman, but kind of misleading him, hoping that eventually Nathan will find him.
Yup.
Yeah. So there's that. After the large underground section, you make it up top outside of a massive church that you have to make it inside. Once inside, you have to fight through more men, solve a quick puzzle to leave the church. This part is a lot longer than it seems from this quick explanation. It's a lot of combat and parkour with little story input. Yeah, it was pretty long.
Yeah, because this is just a lot of quick information because it's a very long chapter section, whatever you want to call it. It's just a lot of parkour and combat. Like I
Mm.
said.
Is this the one with the numbers?
No. That's
Okay.
later.
Okay. All right. When leaving the church, you are now in an old graveyard. You find Sully and Alina inside an old room where you got to rotate these stones and another very simple puzzle. That's true. Once the puzzle is solved, Nathan and Alina just throw human remains on the ground so they can walk through the newly opened passage. That's true too.
Yeah,
This
like
is-
Nathan's like, oh shit, new secret passage, and he's throwing like old bones on the ground, like boom, 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 and then he picks up the skull and slams it against the wall. And he's like, let's go.
Yeah, so Alina and Sullivan get excited too, so they start grabbing skulls and start throwing them on the walls as well. That is story accurate. This is the grave defilement we were talking about. So once through, they accidentally activate a trap, shutting the passage they just went through. Sully is safely pushed back where they came from before he gets crushed. Now it's just you and Alina working your way through a room of stairs and swinging death traps. Yes, this is it.
Yup.
Wenzel died in this room so many times. Yes, but not. Well, yeah, it's from the swinging death traps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say this is probably the most involved puzzle, just because it's a lot of running around the room.
Yeah.
That's literally it. It's just running around the room following numbers. It wasn't bad. It's just it doesn't tell you anything.
No. I mean, you're supposed to follow the 2, 5, and 7, and when you do that, you're following it, and you're
You're
trying not to get killed by these very finicky, swinging death things.
Yeah. So it wasn't too bad. It was just slightly annoying, but it was still fun, I would say.
Yeah.
Through the massive room of many stairs, you find the body of old grandpappy. That's right, Francis Drake. Dude was just chilling in this one spot for nearly like 500 years. Nathan decides to leave his ring on him, returning the family heirloom for some fucking reason.
Yeah, I never understood this part.
Like, who gives a shit?
He's dead.
What is this?
He don't want it.
He doesn't want it. What the fuck is he gonna do with it? Also, too, he had his sword out. Looked like he was fighting something when he died.
Yeah, question mark?
Question mark? Now they have to figure out a way out of this pit. So Lena climbs up to this crane to help lift you out of this pit. While she is gone, a sudden cut happens, and our old pal Eddie runs in the room with one of his goons, clearly spooked by something. Now, I will say this is interesting because as soon as this happens, the cut is so sudden and so jarring that Cole was like, "Did you skip something?" And I was like, "No." Like it literally just cuts.
Yeah, because I looked at another playthrough on YouTube, and I got to this part and I was like, yeah, that it was just a weird fucking sudden cut where there's an explosion and Eddie and one of his goons is with him. It was this is the only place in the game where it feels choppy.
Yeah, it's very weird. These goblin vampire men drag Eddie's goon into the abyss, and the horde mode begins. It's not a bit. It basically is a horde mode. You and Eddie join in a temporary alliance to fight off these supernatural creatures. Eddie shortly falls the same way his goon did. Now it's just you defending yourself from these creatures. Alina finally gets you up after what feels like forever. Yeah, so
because she's like taking her sweet time getting this one fucking crane to get this little fucking rope to get you up.
which is funny because if we think about how technology was back then, this thing had to be fucking simple, right?
Yeah, it had to be extremely simple.
Like, Alita's just stupid. No, I don't know, because old technology is weird, you know? So, yeah, so this is where we get, like, the supernatural element of this, which I do remember, like, initially watching this played. It was like, never would have guessed that we get these. We say vampire. I just say that because they remind me so much of the creatures from the Descent.
Yeah.
That's literally what they look like. They have pointed ears, they have sharp teeth, they're hairless. They have less their like fingers and toes are like fused together. They're these weird like mutant vampire monsters.
Yeah, but they're
And
not like Wendell said. They're not vampire. They're just feral
yeah,
stuff.
they're
Can I
just
say in a
feral
second?
because a lot of vampires look like them. You know, the Descent, this
Yeah,
Dracula from the Last Voyage of the Demeter. Like literally, this is
Redfall.
Redfall. Literally, they all look like this. Nosferatu. I mean, shit. Anyway, yeah. So there's that. Now that you're both safe from the creatures, you have made your way into an old Nazi naval base, which is honestly where this U-boat probably came from from the first part of the game. Is that it literally probably because it was unmoored, it literally got swept out to sea and then um just but I say that though, I did say earlier it was battle damaged, so I don't know exactly. Like,
I mean, it could have just been rust. It's been in a very humid environment for 70 years.
Yeah, that's true. But also too, there was a crew in it. So like, did the crew accidentally get swept into sea while they were in it, and then it just got trapped and they sunk? Like, I don't know. Yeah. So
Also, it could
anyway,
just be a supernatural thing, considering there's creatures.
oh yeah, a fucking what? A divine wind blew that shit onto a waterfall that had it semi landlocked. That's stupid, Colt. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
You're
What is your
right.
problem?
I'm
What the fuck?
sorry. Let's get back to the magic
No.
curse.
You put together this doc together, and you come up with that bullshit. I've lost a little respect has been lost for you. Anyway, Alina is too chicken to do some sick parkour, so she makes Nathan go turn on the power by himself. Exploring the old base, you find even more of these little bastards. Thankfully, the dead Nazis left a ton of MP40s on the ground, so ammo was never an issue. You find the generator, turn it on after a long and very tedious fight. If these fuckers hit you twice, it's lights out, and you got to start back at an annoyingly far back checkpoint, not too far back that you lose too much progress, but just enough to tick you the frick off. That is true. It was very annoying. I will say this too: MP40 probably, besides the explosives, is the best gun in the game.
Yeah, they wait to give you the best gun in the game until you're fighting these fucking little shits.
Yeah, because like there's one other SMG, and it sucks ass. It's terrible.
Yes, it's really bad.
While trying to make it back to Alina, you come across an old projector showing footage of El Dorado and a man chained to a pillar that's grabbing out at the camera like a zombie. A note from Francis Drake reveals that El Dorado is a cursed sarcophagus. Opening the sarcophagus released some kind of evil that turned the men that opened it into all the creatures that you just spent the last hour killing. So all of the creatures that you've been fighting are either Nazis or old Spaniards.
Yup. So they can live forever as long as they're not unloaded on.
Yeah, as long as they're not shot in the fucking head, they'll live forever. You fight through more of the ancient turned Spaniards and eventually make it to a control room opposite the one that Alina is in, but she isn't alone. Roman and his goons are holding her hostage so that Nathan stops coming after them. This entire last section of the game is pure combat. You fight your way to Soli and help him kill off everyone outside the massive church from earlier. Now you have to go back inside the church to move an altar to reveal a different hidden path. Also, this is where we get introduced to another type of enemy, which is a slightly armored, more armored goon. Because you shoot them in the head, but they have a helmet. So to get a perfect headshot on them, you have to shoot the helmet off and then shoot them in the head again.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's just an extra tedious thing.
Yeah, it's not bad. Once down the hidden path, you come across Roman, his goons, Alina, and El Dorado. Roman, being the idiot he is, he's told by his right-hand man, Navarro, to open the sarcophagus and listens. He is quickly turned into one of the creatures and staggers towards Navarro, where he gets head blasted off by Navarro. Surprise, Navarro was the bad guy all along. Wow.
Because it was such a surprise. Navarro, the guy that barely said anything this entire game other than getting bullied by his boss, is the bad guy.
Now it is funny because like they were both characters driven by greed, Gabriel and Navarro.
Yes.
It's just that one of them was thinking on a bigger scale of like, let's say, turning El Dorado into a biological weapon to use against other countries. So
Yep. Almost Resident Evil-y.
yeah, pretty much. Which was interesting. It was literally just a corpse in there, and then Gabriel
Like
just
smoke comes off of it, like a magical smoke.
Yeah, Gabriel breathes it in, and he becomes a monster. And then also too, he luckily just closes it so it doesn't spread anymore for some weird reason. Yeah. So you have to quickly rush to the sarcophagus before it is airlifted by the helicopter so that you can jump onto it and hitch a ride. During the brief helicopter ride, Alina kicks a man that was shooting at Nathan out of the helicopter. While falling, the man shoots the pilot of the helicopter, making it crash onto a ship that Navarro is planning to use to get away. The final battle begins with you fighting off waves of enemies on a rail-like system, slowly pushing up after all the enemies are dead, and Navarro Scooby-Doo runs away. Yeah, it's kind of similar to like an arcade cabinet action game where you like move section by section until you clear out the enemies.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of nostalgic. That is, and Navarro has a bullshit shotgun that will kill you in one shot no matter what. So you have to hide at all times while his laser is active. Yeah.
Because
The
that's the
fight.
only time you can come out is when that laser's fucking gone to shoot his stupid little goons. It's not a
Yeah.
hard section. It's just bullshit. If you're out for like 1 second too long, you're dead.
Pretty much. The fight is eventually a 1v1 on a helipad where you have it's like a quick time event kind of, where you have to beat him up, punch him. You have to dodge, run up to him twice to finally beat the game by beating him unconscious. Nathan's a good guy, so he quickly runs to check on Alina, that has been unconscious the entire time in a currently on fire helicopter. When removing her from the copter, Navarro returns to his feet, clearly a little stunned. Nathan acts fast. After noticing that Navarro was standing at the loop that is holding the sarcophagus, Nathan pushes the helicopter off, dragging Navarro down to the bottom of the sea, along with the legendary gold of El Dorado. What a way to go! Just fucking drowning.
Yeah, that's always been a terrible thought. I remember learning about something like this with the mafia stuff, where they're like, "Well, put cinder blocks on your feet and drag into the bottom of the ocean while you're still alive." That sounds fucking terrible. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
want to
like,
do that.
what is it? It's like concrete shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, awful. Elena gives Nathan the ring that he left on Francis back to him, signifying that she does want to marry him. Sully pulls up in a dinky little boat with a decent stash of treasure. At least they didn't get out empty-handed. And Lena and Drake are seen leaning on the edge of the boat. Elena says that Drake still owes her a story. Drake tells her he's good for it as the boat drives off into the sunset.
It's not the sunset. I said sunrise on purpose because the sun was rising.
See, it looked like it was setting for me.
It wasn't, because if you fast forward into the earlier parts of the fight, it's darker and the sun is coming up, so it's the sunrise.
See, honestly, it just seemed like it was just a thick fog. But fair enough.
Either
fair
way,
enough.
they drive off into the sun.
Yeah, where they burn up and die.
Rest in peace. No more games.
No more. But yeah, that's the story. That's the whole story. Hope you liked us retelling it for you. All spoilers, by the way. If you're made
Yeah,
it
I
this far.
forgot. We're supposed to say spoilers. But
We're supposed to say
anyways.
spoilers. Sorry about that.
But this game is it's not because it's old, but it's because the story is not that complex, really. It's not something completely new. I'll say that.
Yeah. So I guess this is where we get into our initial thoughts. We've already addressed how long it's been since you've played this game, how long it's been since I've watched somebody play it. What do we feel about the characters and the performances? Like I said before, it's a small cast. How do we feel about them?
I really love Nathan. I think Nathan, Sully are really cool characters. I really enjoy them. I feel like Elena is like underused here. She is more annoying than anything, and I feel like that's not really fair because she is better in future games.
Um, yeah, I mean, Nathan is just as they had said, very much your everyman kind of blank slate hero, I guess. Nothing too crazy. It is, yeah. I mean, he doesn't do anything insane. I mean, he does like, if you're, I mean, if you're a guy who's probably built, I guess, just a little bit, who probably has like, probably works at the gym, every week, 5 times a day or 5 times a week, maybe, and you have the budget to go on adventures, then sure, this is the everyman. No,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
Anybody can do this.
no. I mean, he doesn't do incredibly like insane stuff, but he does do some stuff that obviously require a little bit of like athleticism, like
I don't think it's a
climbing.
little bit. I think it's a
A
lot.
lot, a lot. You're right. A lot of athleticism. Um, Now they do mention though that like they also try to make you kind of like feel this his age, and they age him up throughout the games, which I think is interesting too. But it definitely, dude is like very athletic to do any of this, but again, not super serious, tough as nails. There is a really good moment too where um he's talking to Alina, and Alina still wants to pursue this story during the game, but he doesn't. He's just like, there's no reason to die for something like this, which I think is like a really good moment, I think, of like understanding that, wow, this guy is an adventurer, is an explorer. Um he still very feels very real, and
And it's funny because that happened, I was like, "Damn, that's out of character for Nathan." Because in future games, he's all about like, "I gotta do this. I'm gonna kill myself," and that's very much him. And not and
yeah.
in the scene, he's like, "I don't want to die. I'm out of here."
Yeah, that's what I also thought was interesting too, because I thought that was like out of character, but I couldn't really remember, so I didn't want to say that. But yeah, I definitely felt a little out of character, but I think it really plays also too in the stylized realism aspect of this, of being like that, in that genre. Sullivan's fun. He's a grumpy old man who is like,
Pervert.
"Arr." Yeah, he's a pervert. Who has a cigar. Oh, sorry, burping. God, sorry.
Yeah, the
Alina,
characters aren't that complex yet. I'll say that.
yeah, I would say Alina. I didn't find her annoying. I thought she was fairly fun, but honestly, she's so underused that I can't say much about her, honestly,
Yeah,
really. Um Gabriel, Navarro, Eddie, they're your basic bad guys. There's
yeah,
history. That's kind of it. Nothing too crazy. I mean, you don't really get into anything kind of interesting until you get to Navarro, when he talks about like how much money he could make by like who he sells this to. I thought that was interesting, that aspect. Other than that, nothing too crazy. But the performances are pretty like we said, or like it said before, the actors really nailed down the characterizations of their characters that they're playing. And even though this game was remastered, I definitely do feel like, because there was motion capture, I definitely feel like the facial animations were very good for the time.
oh yeah, Naughty Dog, top of the line when it came to PlayStation. So that stuff makes complete perfect sense, and it's weird thinking about how fucking what is it called? LA Noir was considered peak motion cap, and that came out like 2 years later, and it looked fucking freaky.
No, it came out 4 years later, didn't it?
I thought it came out like, oh fuck, when did it come out? When did LA Noir come out?
I feel like it came out in 2011. Let me see.
LA Noir checking. Oh my god, it did. What the fuck?
Told you. Yeah, yeah, 2011.
Huh.
That's right. Yep. Which, I mean, it does take it a little bit further, but it's still very janky
Oh yeah.
with LA Noir. I will say that. But yeah, so I would say like with reviewers saying how solid those performances are, yeah, I would agree. They're very good. They're very good.
Amen.
This is how Nolan North gets his start, and for good reason. Or becomes a bigger name. Sorry, becomes a bigger
Yes.
name. Now talking about gameplay, gunplay, enemies AI, controls, puzzles, environment, level design. What did we think about that? What did we like? What did we not like? Since Cole, I know you played this a lot, but you watch me play it. Is there anything you'd like to address about this?
I think I enjoyed the gunplay. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be anything super crazy because gunplay is it's just something simple now. It's been a thing in gaming for a long time. At this point, even it looks fun. Still, the enemy AI was it was a little stupid, but it was also funny. But I think that's part of the fun of
That's
this
part of the
game. And
charm of it.
Uncharted. The
Yeah.
charm Uncharted is how fucking stupid the AI can look. Because once you shoot someone, they ragdoll like crazy. Or once you're shooting at them, they'll just be like dodging bullets after like 1 second after you shot in that one direction, or they'll just be dodging randomly, or they'll just come out of the corner shooting every direction. It's just fun action movie goon tropes things going on there. It's I think it holds up a little. I do think there is some dated shit with the cover system and the puzzles being made for fucking toddlers. Other than that, I think it really does hold up.
I mean, I can't really say gamers are smarter than toddlers.
That is true. That is very true.
But yeah. So since I got to actually have my hands on it, I mean, gunplay is super fun. There's any of the guns except for the MP40 and the grenade launcher. All the guns do the same damage.
Yeah, there's no like this handgun does 1 shot, 1 kills, or 2 shots, 1 kills. Not 1 kills, 2 shots to kill. No, the handguns do the exact same amount of damage. It takes 3 bullets to kill.
Yeah.
No matter what.
It isn't until you get to so there's 2 different handguns. There's 2 different large caliber handguns, which is the Deagle, and so we say Deagle means Desert Eagle. I don't know if we ever said that.
Yeah.
Desert Eagle and a big revolver. So those are like 1-shot kills. And then there's also a sniper rifle. My bad. Sniper rifle, MP40, and grenade launcher.
There's also a Mac 10.
Yeah, and then the Mac 10, but that SMG sucks ass.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, and then the assault rifles, there's an AK and a M16 or M4. My bad. Well, no, it might be M16. Anyway,
No, it's M4.
M4. Okay. They do the same damage. It's just that the M4 has a smaller spread, while the AK has a wider spread, but they shoot at different speeds as well. But again, they do the same damage. There's 2 shotguns, and they do the same damage. So there's no differentiating between the guns, and that's fine.
The only thing that's different with these guns is like the more modern guns at the time frame are later in the game because they're considered better and they hold more ammo. That's it.
So it's nothing crazy, and that's fine. I mean, gunplay is still fun. I mean, I was still struggling and trying to get headshots, just because it does feel slightly satisfying. But Colt is right though with the AI. Like, I do think that's kind of smart with the AI. Like, you shoot next to them, you miss, but they react so late to it because they're like, oh shit, like a bullet just whizzed by me. So I think that's kind of cool. And it's very much, I think, plays on the action movie trope of like all the characters being shooting everywhere, ridiculous. And what was so fun too is Colt told me like when they die, they will do like these different like references or different crazy like death animations, and it's true. Like I mean, some of them get pretty dramatic with it. It's very funny, and then when they're shooting, they also get very dramatic, very like gung ho funny. It's all part of the charm. It's done on purpose. I will give it that. It's very fun, very cool. Um, Controls are janky as hell. It is the first game. Like I said before, with me climbing and dying so much, it's because of that. The random perspective changes can happen too. It's kind of it's very annoying. It's very yeah. Puzzles. There's nothing really too complex about them, except for the one with the numbers on the floor or not on the floor in the room. They have to follow. Other than that, they're very simple. Nothing crazy. The environments. Uh, it's. I mean,
It's all pretty much one environment until you get to like the sub base.
yeah, the sub base. Yeah, pretty much.
It's pretty. I'll say that. It looks really nice. It's just not much variety, which you don't really need variety with this game.
Yeah, yeah. And that goes into the same thing with level design. It's not much variety. Should say the same thing about the enemies as well. Not much variety in enemies. Um, other than the vampire or the mutant vampire guys, which when those appear, I mean, there's literally 3 different colors for them, and that's kind of it. Not much variety, and that's fine. Um, other than that, I mean, it's not like yeah, it's very straightforward, simple. It's a first game, so I can't really be too harping on it too much. And we beat it in a nice cushy 6 hours. So
Yeah, and we were playing on the easier difficulty. It definitely would have taken us a little bit longer if
and
we tried the harder ones.
yeah, and if you're just trying to like have some fun and understand the story, I mean, there's no reason to go anything harder. I mean, yeah. So, what do you think about the score, the sound design? What do we think
Oh,
about
the
that?
fucking score, beautiful. I love the epic music. When I think Uncharted, I think of the epic music, and that's because of the work of the. Let me scroll
King
that
of
back.
the Hill.
No, yeah, that Greg Edmondson. His work in the first 3 Uncharted games are just super epic, super awesome, and I just fucking love it. The sound design was really good as well. I enjoy the sound of the way the handguns, not handguns, just the guns in general, make very satisfying noises. And when you operate the menus, I really enjoy the like clicking sounds and like the sounds of like treasure as you just like click through the menus. It's just it's a nostalgic experience for me because the sounds are so nice. I love them.
Yeah, yeah. That's fine. Yeah, sound design was good. I like the sounds as well. The music was good. I will say there were some sections where the music would get so fucking loud, it was driving me insane.
Yeah,
Like
the music did get real fucking loud.
holy shit. Like I was like, what? They gotta calm it down with this.
I also want to know what the fuck they used to record a lot of the ambience because there's like guinea pig sounds, there's bat sounds,
Oh
there's monkey
yes,
sounds.
yes. That was one of the things I was going to talk about. Is like so many animal sounds. Like, I mean, there's like crows, there's guinea pigs, like Colt said, it is so many sounds. And we were like, we kept like screaming, like, where's that coming from? Who is saying this?
I think I even heard big cat sounds as well.
I think so too. I'm pretty sure we saw or heard an uh mixed sorts of animals, which they are, South
In a
America. Makes
jungle.
sense. Yeah. Um yeah, also should mention too, when you're looking for treasure, um it's like a shiny little glint. I think they could have done a little better on that. I don't know, I can't remember how it is too much in the later games, but
It's still the same.
yeah, uh it's not too bad, so I'll give that too as well. um how was the final section?
I feel like it can be a slog depending on the kind of person you are. Because I know people don't like the onslaught of enemies. Some people don't. But it just depends on who you are, really. Because it can feel like, just like, Jesus Christ, they're really throwing a lot at you here. But I really don't hold an opinion. against like how sloggy it could be here because I'm indifferent when it comes to killing hordes of enemies.
Yeah, I'm maybe that indifference could be kind of an opinion in itself in um eh, like an indifference to or an opinion of maybe like, well, maybe it's not necessarily a good thing. Maybe we
Yeah,
should
because you're not changing it up at all. Like you're just
yeah,
using the same tactic over and over again. Uh, this entire game, you mostly used a handgun, just because it was so much easier to get headshots with a handgun than any other weapon.
yeah, and then though that handgun you use, eventually ammo becomes scarce for it, and I was constantly having to swap between different shit. I remember too whenever I got the MP40, I held that on. I held onto that for a while because there was so much goddamn ammo for it, and there was it was the perfect weapon to use in that section, which I enjoy. Um, yeah, so maybe that says it something in itself. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like it's not really a slog to me, but at the same time, it's just kind of like yeah, kind of have to do it, whatever. Um, I don't mind. Like I said, the part on the boat where you're moving from section to section to section, I felt very nostalgic. I didn't hate. I kind of it's not bad. There was a part in there though when you're trying to get the sarcophagus to jump on it that solely is supposed to cover you, and I kept dying because like Colt said, these fucking mutants will hit you twice and you die. And there's like a whole section where like 7 of them start running up to you, and it's just like, what the hell? So like
And if you're unlucky and two of them do the attack animation at the exact same time, you're dead.
you're
One
dead,
hit, you're dead.
and it's timed, so you have to make sure you you have to run to get to the sarcophagus, or else it will get lifted up. So it's really I don't like that. I didn't like that level as well. I thought that was bad. Um, So I guess what probably can say like maybe 3 to 4 out of 22 levels were probably really bad. Um, in my opinion, chapters. Yeah, I would say that probably. Um, yeah. So after 16 years of this game being out, how does it hold up? How does it uh this game for the even for the time being the first in a franchise, does it still contain the quality as we know Naughty Dog to have with games today? How does it hold up?
I don't think it's the same quality as modern day Naughty Dog, but that's just because I don't think the team was as skilled as they are now, or they didn't have the right technology. The same technology, they don't have it back then that they have now. It's it's just about an evolution here.
Y- Yeah, but
But it was great for the time frame. The time
yeah,
frame, don't get me wrong. This was like, whoa, what the fuck? But now it holds up in like if you force yourself to be like, okay, this came out 2007. I'm gonna have to like understand that it came out in 2007, so there's gonna be some 2007 baggage with it,
yes.
and it does have it, which isn't bad because it was still very fun.
Yeah, because we have a lot of reception being like, this feels like this is a triple A project, this feels like a Hollywood film, a blockbuster, and this did come out in 2007. Of course, it doesn't have the same quality as the games of today, including from Naughty Dog has, but does it still hold the same praise as it did then that we can understand it having then?
Yeah, I understand. I completely get it why it was
Yeah.
praised so much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, watching it played then and actually getting to play to it now, I mean, I get it. Like I understand completely. It definitely has that action film vibe to it. That blockbuster type of development I get too, like at the time with technology and budgets. Like I mean, um it was on the rise, and it was a lot for them to do at the time. So yeah. Yeah. I definitely feel that.
Hell yeah, like we're at the final. section, I think it's time we talk about it. Let's what do we rate this game on a 10-point scale? We do it every single big game review we talk. Do you have a score or do you want me to go?
I do have a score.
All right, you want to go?
Yeah, I think I'll go. I think I'll
Go.
go. And we should also mention too, like, do we consider this an essential game as well? So my score out of 10 is a 7.5 out of 10.
All right, okay.
Do I consider this an essential game? Yeah, if you're just starting the franchise and you're wanting to get into PlayStation exclusives, I think it's you have to play it. I think you have to play it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you if I think it's essential or not. I do think it's essential. I do. It's really good. It holds up still from like PlayStation exclusives from that time frame. Because I can't think of like Ratchet and Clank does hold up, but I can't think of any other PlayStation exclusives from that time frame that like really stick out that hold up. But then again, they aren't really re-releasing them. So I don't
Yeah,
really know. It's been so
they
long because I'd
it's
really
been
love to play
yeah,
Killzone and Resistance,
and
but I
resist.
can't.
Yeah, for real.
And those
Oh,
Ratchet and Clank games, Future Tools of Destruction and Crack in Time. I'd love to replay those, but I don't want to plug in my
yeah,
PlayStation 3.
absolutely. But Uncharted is a classic PlayStation game.
Yes,
So
100% classic. I highly recommend you check it out. It's a fun time. Don't expect to get your mind blown, but expect to have a little fun.
yeah, what's your score?
My score is a 7.8 out
Wow,
of 10.
wow.
It's
Okay.
it because it's just short of being a great game. Because I consider 8 being like great, and I consider 7 to be good.
Yeah, yeah. No, goodness. I honestly thought you were gonna give it a higher score. I thought you were gonna
No,
give
no.
it an 8, but honestly, we're both on the same page. 7. Wow. That's awesome. So average, it's a 7.65.
Yup.
So
Which is
yeah,
completely fair and
that's completely
respectful.
fair.
It's been 16 years. You can't expect it to hold up that well.
Yeah, but
Well, I say that, but then again, there's some games that hold up so fucking well, and they're like 30 plus years.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, that's the whole point of Backlog Boys. We got to go through the backlog, and
Amen.
we gotta check them out and see how these games hold up now, and play the games that uh we've been meaning to play, or you've been meaning
Yeah.
to play, or you. So yeah,
Yeah, and we're gonna get Tanner in on it at some point, because like I said at the beginning, we're going to get the rest of these on here. And I want Tanner to know at least what the hell's going on here with this first game because I can't remember the story exactly, but it takes uh future games will take some Lucas, my dog is going crazy. Uh it takes some information from this game and uses it in the
yeah,
future game.
yeah.
Because
Oh yeah,
I want to play the rest of this series, and I think Tanner would really enjoy the later Uncharted games. This one, I don't think he'd care that much for. I just feel like it's too simple for his brain.
he needs
But then
something more
again,
complex.
it might be just right for him because he's so stupid. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So there you go. That's Uncharted
That's
1.
Uncharted. Drake's Fortune.
Yeah. What was
Now
his fortune? The friends.
friends we made along the way. Now, what's next on the block? Because next month is a special month. Everyone. It's Halloween, the birthday of pumpkins.
And of Satan.
Nah, pumpkins cooler. Pumpkin orange. So can't refute that. We're gonna be doing 2 main episodes. We've talked about this in our last episode, and this we're gonna go ahead and tell you the first one. The first one we're gonna do at the middle of the month, and that is Scorn for the Xbox Series X, or we played it
Yep.
on the S, but
Yeah.
Series X and S.
Yeah.
Soon to be on PlayStation, which we'll cover that. We'll cover all that details. I shouldn't have told you that. Now you know too much. Now I just removed content from that episode that we're going to still bring up for that episode. So, wow.
Yeah. So, if everything goes to plan, that will release on October 11th. So, stay tuned for that. Let's just say I have a lot of things to say about Scorn.
Yeah, then I'm very interested because Wenzel was telling me stuff about. I'm like, yep, didn't gather that, so I'm interested in to hear more.
Yep. Yeah. So,
I guess
hope
it's time
you're
to
plug it.
plug it, Dougie.
All right. Well, you can follow us, the Backlog Boys, on Twitter at Backlog Boys Pod. Are we on Blue Sky yet? We're not on Blue Sky, right?
I don't think so. Yes, we are. We are on Blue Sky. I just opened up Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky, AYCH podcast.
Oh, but what about Backlog Boys?
We are not on there.
Yeah, that's what I asked.
Shit, I'm sorry.
That's what I asked, you punk bitch. But okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, but if you're on Blue Sky though, go check out. Like he said, we're on their AYCH podcast. Go follow AYCH podcast on Twitter as well. But back to Backlog Boys. You can go and listen to our past episodes where you've covered a bunch of gaming news, what we played before, blah blah blah. And then we have a past episodes that again where we talk about games. The most recent and last one we have is Hi-Fi Rush, as Colt said, from earlier this year. So go check that out. I wasn't a part of that, but I'm sure it was great. Go check out AYCH Extra with an X on Twitter as well. That's where all the extra stuff, that's our extra feed. That's where it gets put on, including Backlog Boys, Instruction Booklet, Cinema Grimoire, whatever left of that, some special episodes on there. We are on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Overcast. We're on anything, all RSS feeds. We're on there. Go check us out. That is Backlog Boys. That is the All You Can Hear podcast, and that is the AYCH Extra feed as well. We're on Twitch, All You Can Hear, where we stream sometimes. Tanner does Tuesdays with Tanner, where he streams random game. He'll play currently, or not currently, because this comes out the 27th. So literally he would have done a Tuesday. Okay. So if he does do his most recent one, which is yesterday, the 26th, he would have done Cassette Beast. I don't know what that is. But I'm sure he'll talk to you about that. If he doesn't do that, obviously we'll let you know. We'll update it on the Twitter. That's why you got to follow the Twitter. And then last week he did Mortal Kombat 1 Launch Day Edition. But again, if that doesn't go as planned, we'll let you know. And then everything gets uploaded as VODs to the YouTube, which is All You Can Hear as well. The Starfield plays that he has done should be up there. They're all up there as well, I'm pretty sure. When this comes out last week, I would have released or we would have released episode 319, Tanner and Colt's Essentials, where we talk about the top 10 essential movies and music albums of Colt and Tanner, to lead into my own podcast that I've released. I released episode 0 last week on Wednesday, the 20th, Wenzel's Essentials, where I talk about my podcast, how I'm going to do it, and I introduce it and myself. But also on the 26th, which is yesterday, again on Tuesday, I would have released the first official episode of Wenzel's Essentials, which is Essential Reading, where I talk about Universal Harvester by John Darnielle. So check that out. And then tomorrow, Thursday the 28th, I will release the second episode, which is Essential Viewing, where I talk about the movie The Seventh Seal, directed by Ingmar Bergman. And then Saturday, the 30th, I release Essential Listening, where I talk about Orville Peck's Bronco. And yes, I think that's
That's
it.
all. Yeah, I think you're good.
So yeah, and obviously go check out Pat's stuff as well. John Lost His Name, where he has his Pat files or Ultraman files as well. Yeah, I think that's everything. You can follow me, Wenzel, on Twitter at Winsy Wilkie. You can follow my art Instagram at Wordle Winsy. You can follow my Bookstagram, Wenzel Banters. Winsy Wilkie and Wenzel Banters are basically where I will talk about those will be so Winsy Wilkie will be where I do any news or anything about Wenzel's Essentials, and then on Instagram, Wenzel Banters, and on Threads, World of Winsies, where I will post about Wenzel's Essentials for those socials. I'm on Blue Sky. I think I'm World of Winsy there as well. Yes, I am. I have a store, worldofwinsy.bigcartel.com. I have a letterbox. I have a Goodreads. I have a link tree with links for everything. So go check that out. Thank you for listening.
My name is Colt. Follow me on Twitter at ColtD00. It's always going to be called Twitter. Also, follow me on Blue Sky at ColtD99. That's all I got. That's all we got. Because that's it.
That is it. Yes. Okay.
So, we'll be seeing you next month.
Yep.
In a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Got any finals?
I scorn you for being Uncharted.
It burns when I pee.